So worry about him.
Oh, don't worry, he'll be fine. Such a great guy. He knows what to do.
The greatest rally in the world is back in Kenya. Catch all the action of WRC Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. See the world's best drivers navigate their machines on Kenya's rough terrain at breakneck speeds. Experience the thrills, adrenaline, drama and excitement as man and machine do battle. Don't miss out. WRC Safari Rally, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Good evening, this is Channel 1 News Hour. I trust you had a lovely Monday. Well, it is the last day of May 2021 and I trust you had a lovely day. Tonight on Channel 1 News Hour, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up for you. For now, we take a look at the highlights.
Jukumu letu ni kutendea wananchi. Look at what is going on. This was a lost case. We have no problem. I only wish our civilian operators, our civilian administrators, our civilians who we give jobs in parastatals, in ministries, would just do a quarter of what our brothers and sisters are doing here.
Use of military management of state corporations to continue irregardless, says President Kenyatta, citing Kenya Meat Commission success story. Excitement in the air. The lakeside town of Kisumu in high spirit ahead of Madaraka Day celebrations at Jomo Kenyatta Stadium. And murder of an innocent soul. Body of 7-year-old pupil is dumped in Kitengela.
Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Jackline Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi. Now, to kick us off, President Uhuru Kenyatta is challenging civilian institutions to emulate the Kenya Defence Force's efficiency in public service delivery. The president noted that KDF had demonstrated good work ethic in their service to the nation, especially in the revival of key infrastructural and economic projects, thus saving the country large sums of money.
Did you know that your house is one of your most valued investments?
Get your domestic package insurance cover. This includes house and its contents, domestic servants, owners and tenants' legal liability. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBit ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353. Alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka kwenye QuickBit ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
It's time for us to give you some juicy, amazing entertainment.
Like everyone is just here to, have some good time.
Amazing. It feels so good,
On the next episode of Little Daddy.
What are you doing here? Shame on you! Just stay out of this, Dad. You did that all for some girl? Is she worth it? It's my decision.
Aren't you happy to be out with me and your uncle?
What do you know? I'm just acting cool. Hugo said it's babyish to get excited. Hugo didn't answer the phone.
Well, maybe he wants to be by himself.
I'm so worried about him.
Oh, don't worry, he'll be fine. Such a great guy. He knows what to do.
Next on.
We not the Congo long, just like the Amazon. Split big like a cylinder, man on beat like God.
That's my word. Time for we do it now. I hope you heard, girl. I found true love, and it feels like freedom. Oh my God.
I'll give you all you want. Don't even have to ask. What will you give me in return?
Give you all my love, my love, my love, my love, my love, my love. Give you.
With the ladies.
I can only imagine.
Oh, baby, you ain't got to imagine. We got this on video. You don't want to see that. Zeke the Freak is back in town. I know that, too.
I'm in the house. And it's still the #1 destination for couples to do the craziest thing of all. Get married.
Are you in the adjoining suite?
Once the door closes, you can barely hear a thing. Fortunately, I arrived the only way a sane person should. I'm talking about solo, people.
Hey, that Lambo okay right there, right? It's my car.
Let's go. This is your bachelor party. Next 24 hours, the boys will be with the boys.
And the girls with the girls.
In this battle of the sexes, I was determined to keep us ahead of the girls.
We're rolling with the pros.
Let's go!
Think like a man, too. Next on.
Mimi Dr. Chua, Alwatan Chua.
Mimi ndiye Dr. Sawasawa.
Mimi ni Dr. Ashraf mwenye hii hospitali.
Ashraf si lolote hapa.
Wewe daktari, hospitali yako kabisa?
I am the boss.
Okay.
That's all. Next passion.
Huyu mwanangu mimi namuona kulegea tu.
Afaa tumpatie chupa moja ya maji.
Maji asikioni.
Hii chupa moja mama kisha tufanya sahali. Lakini kama wengine tutatia lita 20.
Si majanga haya.
Next passion.
Basi.
Next passion.
Yuendesha.
Huyu ameuza bongo.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
It's time for us to give you some juicy, amazing entertainment.
Look at the motor. I love you the African way. Tunapiga sherehe. Yani mpaka kuje.
Like everyone is just here to, have some good time.
Amazing. It feels so good,
Next on.
Bye.
Okay. Tiff.
What is it, Eric?
He's a Tiff.
At least find out who Glenn is working with.
Nitamsaka alafu nitakushow.
Kama ukitaka uzuri, usichukue pesa ya huyo mama. Utaenda jela.
Unataka kumwaga huga.
What do you think is going to happen once you solve your father's mystery?
Let's wait and see.
If I go down for anything whatsoever, you better believe I'm taking Joel and Chris with me.
I can't take this anymore. I'm done.
Cheki, mimi naona tuishie. Wewe zidi.
So this is your game plan?
Zeke the Freak! This man is a legend with the ladies.
I can only imagine.
Oh, baby, you already got the imagine. We got this on video. You don't want to see that? Zeke the Freak is back in town.
I know that too. I'm in the house. And it's still the #1 destination for couples to do the craziest thing of all. Get married.
Mom, are you in the adjoining suite?
Once the door closes, you can barely hear a thing. Fortunately, I arrived the only way a sane person should. I'm talking about solo, people.
Hey, that Lambo okay right there, right?
It's my car.
Let's go. This is your bachelor party. Next 24 hours, the boys will be with the boys.
And the girls with the girls.
In this battle of the sexes, I was determined to keep us ahead of the girls.
You're rolling with the pros.
Let's go!
Think like a man, too.
Next on.
Sijauliza mamili ngapi, ngauliza pesa ngapi.
Lakini sasa ngoja niwaambie kitu. Wahenga wanasemaje? Asifuzwa na wazazi wake, ufuzwa na dunia.
Ndio hivyo.
Ndio mambo mnayoyaona jamaa. Anakula kama mchwa.
Sanduku? Sanduku lenyewe li wapi?
Kulegea tu.
Afaa tumpatie chupa moja ya maji.
Maji asikioni.
Hii chupa moja mama kisha tufanya sahali. Lakini kama wengine tutatia lita 20.
Si majanga haya.
Next passion.
Basi.
Next passion.
Yuendesha.
Huyu ameuza bongo.
He remembers with nostalgia the safari rally of the yesteryears when it was a part and parcel of the World Rally Championship, when it used to excite the whole nation.
My experience with safari rally is when I was growing up, when we used to wake up in the nights to watch those cars, of course, in darkness, and I used to fear the sounds. They used to make a lot of noise. And, normally it used to be those rainy seasons and everything was just muddy and stuff. We would wake up at night to go watch the cars, go distances just to see these cars. And I think that's where my interest for motorsport was actually born. And then maybe in the 90s, 2000s, when it was last held in Kenya, where I just witnessed and I saw the last of what was to be the WRC then, Colin McRae, all Richard Barnes doing this thing. And I really, really wanted to take part, and I'm glad I actualized that dream. And finally, I get to sit in a WRC event. Last time I watched this was maybe on television, because by then I think I was in school somewhere, so I was not able to watch it.
KBC. Why are you not saying KBC? You watch it on KBC,
Well, it's now a different ballgame altogether following his reinstatement in the World Rally calendar after 19 years in the cold, and a new experience for Absalom Aswani, who will not be watching from the spectator zone, as is now one of the participants who will be navigating Evans Kavese of the Green Life team.
For me, I would say it's a dream come true. There have been years when I really wanted to see this. But not only seeing this, but participating. Actually, it's been one of my prayers or goals in life to do a WRC, and I'm glad that it's happening in my turf, where I'll be taking part. God willing.
What do you remember about the safari rally from what you saw wherever you saw?
He's gained a lot of experience since being identified by Azza Anwar as good to go.
I'm 15 years now into motorsport, into rallying. Earlier on, we started it off and working as protege to Azza Anwar, and I think he led quite a good number of people. Who eventually, I think I remember one time I told him, before I quit your team, I must sit with you. And lucky for me, you know what? I sat with Azza Anwar in one of the Guru Nanak events. I think that was in 2013 or 2014. There, I sat with him, and we finished a good 6th position. And it was quite a good experience for me, which actually I was able to learn a lot, and gave me a lot of confidence into what I'm doing right now.
And it's come in handy for a number of top drivers in an area that is very crucial in any rally, actually the most important.
I started off with Adnan Suhail, I've sat with Charles Hinga, I've sat with Steve Gasheru, I have sat with Azza Anwar, I have sat with who else? There are many other people I cannot remember. Which we have done very well up to now when we're sitting. Even outside the country, I sat with some Tanzanian teams. I started off with Brigitte, where we won my first event outside Kenya. I went and won an event in Tanzania. After that, I sat with Gurpal Sandhu, who was sitting in an Evo 10, which was made by Azza Anwar, locally made from Azza Anwar, and I managed to win the championship in 2012 in Tanzania. A year after, I think 2015 or 16 there, I joined another team, went back to the team that originally had taken me there, and I partnered with Ajminda, it's called Ajminda Dani, and we were performing very well up to one time when we had a nasty accident where unfortunately somebody was knocked, and it was quite bad in Tanga. Last weekend actually they also had an event in Tanga. So yeah, that was the last time I sat with him, and then I sat with his cousin again, who I sat with him until last year. Yes, that's when I actually came back. At this level, where I remember we started with Evans that was in 2018, where we did our first safari, and it was quite an interesting event. Him being, It was his first event ever, and unfortunately we didn't finish, but I'm glad we took the lessons and we are here, where we are, and we are not doing that. Looking at our position right now in the series. Last year, had it not been for the COVID, we ended the season at position 4 in the KNRC. So in our group, we were probably leading. I think in our category, we were leading, and we managed to get to position 4 at that level, because that's when now we got into a serious competing position. Now with this N10, others with the others who were just amongst the groups trying to learn our ropes and all that. But we have had good finishes. I think we had quite of some non-finish positions.
A navigator has his work cut out and requires a lot of organizational skills, has to be fit, and above all have a good chemistry with the driver, and he found that with Evans.
It's a nice, fantastic, but I think before you sit with somebody, there's that chemistry that has to be. There's that chemistry of friendship. You have to understand each other. You have to know when to push, when to say what, when to do what exactly. Because I mean, this is a very sensitive space, small space that you are in, and it's dangerous, and the atmosphere in there is really hot, and it can change at any 1 minute. So you just have to know what to do and when to do it. But I can say so far he's been a fantastic, one of the fantastic people I've seen.
But it ain't that easy, as a lot happens during an actual event, which brings a lot of pressure.
Sitting in a rally car is like, for those who understand what marriage works, it's more like a marriage. Because you know that somebody is angry, but he doesn't mean it. He's not angry because he's really angry. He's just angry that whatever it is has happened, and that is a situation that is well understood in our circles. So you're not angry because it's bad, but you are angry because you want your team to succeed. So we know that it's for the best of the team. So we don't take it so bad, but it happens.
And this being a navigator Safari Rally, how prepared is he for the task ahead?
WRC is going to be a navigator's rally, especially. I want just to limit myself to the stages that we have seen. And Sleeping Water is quite a stage. It's quite. It has the both. It has a lot to do with it. It has the roughs, it has twisties, it has straights, and a combination of all that. And it actually requires both of you to be switched on to be able to handle it. But more or less, it's more of a navigator's kind of to keep the driver on it. Otherwise, you will lose it. Especially in those twisty, rocky areas, you just need to be alert to do it. But I can say it is a balanced event, and probably the worst of the stages are yet to be seen. Probably I've just managed to see some images of the other stages that are happening in the forest that are really not straight, but twisties, where if you miss a corner, you are headed for a tree. And trust me, WRC guys, if they're used to the speeds, they are not going to like it here.
Absalom Aswani says that they will leave nothing to chance when they go flat out in the WRC Safari Rally, where he roots for the local boys' support, for they will add to the excitement. So better watch out for the Green Life team.
Mentally, I am, because it's all about what I can see and how it's for him to be there. But for me, having been there before, I think he can hack it. We just need to probably work on our mud. I'm just hoping that it doesn't rain. But even it will be good. A good mix if it rains, because I don't think we liked our experience with our the two stages. There was Malewa and Londia. It had just rained, and by the time we got there, it was messy. So we were not making any, but we had a lot. I can say we learned a lot from those few stages, and we're gonna attack them differently this time. Welcome to Londia, and Sleeping Water is waiting for you. Sleeping Water is waiting for you. God forbid if I will come across some of you packed on the side, because those rocks will be waiting there for you. Some rocks there have your names written on, so welcome.
KBC Channel 1.
It's time for us to give you some juicy, amazing entertainment.
Like everyone is just here to, have some good time.
Amazing. It feels so good,
Zeke the Freak! This man is a legend with the ladies.
I can only imagine.
Oh, baby, you already got the imagine. We got this on video. You don't want to see that. Zeke the Freak is back in town. I know that, too. I'm in the house.
And it's still the #1 destination for couples to do the craziest thing of all. Get married.
Mom, are you in the adjoining suite?
Once the door closes, you can barely hear a thing. Fortunately, I arrived the only way a sane person should. I'm talking about solo, people.
Hey, that Lambo okay right there, right? It's my car.
Let's go. This is your bachelor party. Next 24 hours, the boys will be with the boys.
And the girls with the girls.
In this battle of the sexes, I was determined to keep us ahead of the girls.
We're rolling with the pros.
Let's go!
Think like a man, too.
Next on.
Bye. Okay. What is it, Eric?
He's a thief.
At least find out who Glenn is working with.
Ndamsaka alafu nitakushow.
Kama unataka uzuri, usichukue pesa ya huyo mama. Utaenda jela.
Unataka kumwaga huka.
What do you think is going to happen once you solve your father's mystery?
Let's wait and see.
If I go down for anything whatsoever, you better believe I'm taking Joel and Chris with me.
I can't take this anymore. I'm done.
Next on.
Mimi ndiye Dr. Chua, Alwatan Chua.
Mimi ndiye Dr. Sawasawa.
Mimi ni Dr. Ashraf mwenye hii hospitali.
Ashraf si lolote hapa.
Wewe daktari, hospitali yako kabisa?
I am the boss.
Okay.
That's all. Next passion.
Huyu mwanangu mimi namuona kulegea tu.
Afaa tumpatie chupa moja ya maji.
Maji asikioni.
Hii chupa moja mama kisha tufanya sahali. Lakini kama wengine tutatia lita 20.
Si majanga haya.
Next passion.
Basi.
Next passion.
Yuendesha.
Huyo ameuza bongo.
He looks cool, calm and collected as he inspects the works are being done on his car in readiness for his debut in the WRC Safari Rally, a demeanor that personifies what is required of a competitor in these adrenaline motorsports.
It's taken a lot of training for us to even come close to that. And we started by fragmenting the team so that different people deal with different things, so that the guys who are driving are dealing with being in the car and we don't care about anything else. So they won't ask us what to repair and replace in the car, all in an effort to keep our heads lighter. You want to be focused. You want to shut out all other problems in the world, because once you're done with the rally, you'll still find them. So that takes time to learn. It's not something I can tell you there's a process to doing, but there's a lot of calmness and meditation that you need to do days before the rally to just learn how to control your body. Think about it this way. You have adrenaline that's pumping in your body, that's pushing you to do crazy things. And at the same time, you have your mind that needs to control how your body behaves and how you process all this stuff. So you need to calm yourself down while still adrenaline is in the background, you know, riling things up. So it's not easy. It's something that I've had to learn over time. But now I almost can switch it on and off, depending on what situation we need.
Evans Akavese is one of the fastest rising indigenous Kenyans who have come a long way in rally to make their presence felt. He was inspired by both local and international top drivers to take up the sport.
But I remember Ian's win in 1994, I believe, with the Celica. That Celica is probably what now made me cement it. That, yeah, I'm doing this thing. Yeah, they did a remote service, and it so happened that remote service was near where I was. The car was stopped just almost where I was. So you can imagine a car just in front of you here, and as a young boy, guys are rushing around with spanners, fungua, check this, do this, driver anajimwagilia maji. Like, this is it. There's nothing else to be doing other than this. So since then, we've been trying to recreate that, even as we want that. So if years later I can be doing a small part of that, dream come true. Dream come true, to be honest.
And thanks to the able hands of Mzee Wakazi, he quickly learned the ropes of the game. I
had the ambition since I was young, and it's possibly the only ambition that actually stuck. So everything else seemed to be a means to an end for me to make sure that I rally. So eventually I had to enter motorsport. I started by doing volunteering in different workshops with various lead drivers. My longest stint being at Azano is actually the one who even connected me to Absalom, my navigator. He's the one who connected me to my team manager. You know, these are guys we trained with back in the day. So our friendship just grew out of all of that, and it was easy to just transition into a team.
He remembers his first experience as if it was yesterday and how scary it was.
My first experience driving a rally car was actually in an event, that is. It was 2018 Safari Rally. One of the best events, if you ask me, because just starting was a complication on its own. We had so many problems in that rally. We didn't finish. And we had, honestly, all sorts of problems. In fact, I guess that's where I actually started learning about all these things that I'd been taught by Azza and the rest on elements of preparation of the car, elements of preparation of the team, mentally accepting what you're going to do and preparing yourself for it. So that event actually was because we had actually talked about it for a while with Absalom. He had, the weekend before, they had an accident in, I think, a Tanga rally or Arusha rally. It actually ended up with I think 2 spectators passing away. So he was also extremely scared. So for me, it worked very well that we were actually scared. So we were very, very, very scared. So the first stage, we didn't do anything major. The second stage, nothing also. But by the time adrenaline is now checking in to tell you it's not that bad. It was the third stage, and that's actually the stage we went out. So one of the best experiences I can put together. That I will never forget that first rally.
Evans overcame his fears to enter into competition proper and hone his motorsports skills.
We had to figure out how to sort out the car, because then that became our next problem. How do we make it reliable enough to finish events? So that was I think it took us the next 2 rallies to actually complete an event. And the first one I finished was KBC rally, somewhere in Lisa Farm. I was dead last. I'd hit an antelope, I think, as in all sorts of problems I had. By the time I got to the finish line, the car had cooked the engine completely. That's how much overheating we had done. It could only manage to do that small round to take us to receive the trophy. After that, engine dead. But that was my first event to finish. So from then we started putting in systems to actually make sure that the rally car is prepared early enough, and so on and so forth.
He discovered along the way he had to switch to more reliable models for better performance.
So from there we changed the car, because then we realized whatever we were doing to that old one, we were throwing money at it and it was not solving any issue. So we actually now changed the car at that point, which is where we built now the GF8. But we wanted a similar platform to what we originally had, so that we're not changing parts and things are not too crazy for us to figure out. And the car itself became reliable, so we started finishing well. Then we needed a lot more power. That's when we now got the N10. The N10 again was a properly built rally car, compared to the one that we had done for ourselves. The GC8 lacked in a lot of things. Your engine mapping, the things that give you extra advantage. So buying a car that had already been done to all that made a lot more sense for us.
And it paid off, although it forced him to start from the scratch.
It's never missed a beat, to be honest. It's been one of my best experiences. The best results we've gotten so far is with this car, with the N10, so it's just like a spot in my heart. It's the same one we did Arusha with, who were 5th overall. Incidentally, in the first year that we had it, which was actually last year, the lowest we ever got was 7th overall. And in the championship, I think we finished on 4th, but then it was cancelled towards the end. Yeah, but it's been a brilliant ride, the N10. But now this year, because of the safari and the upgrades we wanted to do to the car, it was easier and almost cheaper for us to do it on a different platform. So that's why we actually shifted from the Subaru to now the Evo 10.
COVID-19 struck, and with it came some new challenges, but it didn't throw them off the course despite some ups and downs.
We had, when we just got the car, the N10, because that was just in January 2020, we did a lot of testing. We did a lot of testing in different farms. And the original tests we used to do were short events and things of that nature, but soon enough we came to realize that the car is very different from what we were used to. So we needed to put in a lot more mileage in training. So we changed the training mechanisms, and whatever we used to call now training had to essentially be redefined. We joined hand with a few teams who are already doing that kind of thing, so it was easier for us to just piggyback on whatever they were doing and get us also to achieve something good enough. which is now this Menengai Lemon team, Eric Bengi's team. So we've been associating for quite a while and developed us quite a bit, especially with this car. So by the time it came to the first event we did with it was 7th overall. That was a Guru Nanak. Then the next event we did with it was a Nyaururu. That was a Nakuru rally, 7th again. And that is where now COVID struck. And at that point, we're actually looking at being consistent for the whole year and try and get as much as possible from this car, because we were waiting for Safari 2020. It was supposed to be the big event, was supposed to actually be in 2020. Well, when everything was stopped, it also took us back. We actually didn't know what to do, because now you have time and that's all you have. So you can only reminisce. So we actually started making our trainings bigger and longer in that time. So we trained more. We rebuilt the car from scratch, just to give it that personal touch, so that you're also comfortable, that you know everything that's happening in that car and you're confident with it in an event. So you can imagine that many months between the last event we did, I think was in beginning of March or something. The next event we did with it, proper competition, was in November. So when TZ guys announced that there'll be a rally and they're welcoming foreigners, we jumped on that wagon like we were on steroids. It's not even funny. It was not even a team discussion. It was just an SMS. I'm guessing next week we are on. Yes. So all of us went to TZ. It was a very nice event because we had been training so much with the car. So we also wanted to see how we are as a team in proper competition setup. And our prayers were answered. We were 5th on that event. We would have done better, but no complaints. 5th was brilliant.
When the Equator Rally was reinstated in the IRC to act as a curtain raiser for the WRC Safari Rally, Evans could not bypass the opportunity to test his new car, and it was quite an experience, a story in its own, to say the least.
A long event brings in some extra challenges. Think about fuel, your tire selection, how your crew is handled, because you also don't want them fatigued before the event ends. So if you put all those things together, it's actually a very technical rally. So the normal approach would be a cautious approach, which is what we tried having, but our mojo was destroyed day one on practice. Because again, with the new car, which we had just bought and done quite a bit of testing on it. We had never really opened the car or anything, but because it had sat for a while, it had not competed for I think 2 years, a year or 2 years or something like that. So some of the problems came up on the day of the rally, the first day of the rally. And in all these times when we were doing testing, everything was fine. All the problems that came up we sorted, and those we were confident that was the only problem. So with the gearbox was the first thing for us to actually have a problem with. No, actually the clutch before we left. And before that we had rolled the car on one of the sections when we were doing training, because we used to have 100-kilometer training sessions broken down to stages. So in one of the areas where the attitude I had was still of the Subaru, not of the new car, and I needed to change a few settings myself, and all that stuff had escaped us. So we actually went wide on a corner and rolled the car, and that was a week to ARC, 1 week. So we rebuilt the car, but as a result, I think while loading it, when it had rolled, when they were offloading it or loading it onto the trailer, they had burnt the clutch, because the clutches on these things are quite sensitive. So we didn't know that until a day to the rally. A day to the rally, when we were leaving the workshop, I drove the car and felt, the clutch, nothing. So they fixed, we put in a new clutch, then they sent it for scrutineering, and everything was okay at that point. The day we start qualifying, the proper rally stage, from just the get-go, we could tell we have other problems now. We were not sure of the extent, but we just drove. We didn't even push it, that qualifying stage, which is what was determining the starting times for the following day. We didn't push it because we were not confident with it. The fuel pumps had failed. Yeah, well, one fuel pump had failed, and when you were connecting to the other one, the cable, whatever you attached to the fuel pump, on the second fuel pump, broke. So now we don't have proper fuel supply. The gearbox is trying to mess with us, and at that point I was not sure it was the gearbox. But by the time we drove from that qualifying stage all the way back to service, it actually packed up. A bolt went through the gearbox, sheared it, so we had all the oil leaking, and the gearbox jammed. The thing couldn't move. We decided now to try and see if we can repair. But by the time we removed it, we were very sure there's no repairs in sight, because it's a housing that was properly destroyed, not even the gearbox itself, not the mechanism. So we were either to continue with the rally or look for a new gearbox. No one within that vicinity had one that we could get. So we had to send people to Nairobi to look for one, which we got, and got it back there, I think by 10:30. I came back to Nakuru. Now, because the rally had not properly started, they allowed us to repair the car and rescrutineer the following day in the morning. So my big shot team here did all they could and made sure that car worked. So by 6, we were on the start line with everyone else. We had changed the gearbox from a competition one to a standard one, just to make sure we finish the rally, which, mind you, till now, it's not started. Yeah, so after that, when we got into a rhythm, because of the matope and all that, and because the car had rolled, we had one of the pipes that connects to, you throw your water on your windscreen. Like this much section of a pipe was missing. Someone didn't replace it. But then we didn't notice it, because when the car is being cleaned and all these things, you would normally be wiping it. We don't use the wipers. So when you're in the field, when you need the wipers, unafinya maji haikuji, and you have matope on the windscreen kabisa, and you're supposed to be competing, so you can't even afford to slow down and look at what the problem is, because you don't even know if you can sort it in the first place. So because you have drinking water in the car, at some point when you find a nice patch, kazi yangu ni kumwaga maji kwa windscreen, then now, we can see something. Hopefully you don't get any more mud, which you do, because it was raining. So that first day was a lot of drama for us. And again, it's because we had not, as a team, we had not, built the car. So we are not comfortable yet with it. By the second loop, we had sorted all those first issues of the day. Second loop, a new problem crept up. I think because the car had sat for a while, it was not driven for competition for over a year. One of the coils had just started degenerating, one of the ignition coils. So in the second loop, it died. So we had now almost no power. It sounds so bad at the back. We couldn't almost hear ourselves, and we are wearing helmets with intercoms. So at some point, my Navigator had to be extremely illustrative, because from where I'm seated, I cannot turn and look at him. I actually can't. There are restrictions on all those things we wear. So I can only see this much. So he has to throw his hand somewhere near the screen, in front of me. Tell me it's right 4. Point at which side that corner should be coming, so that I also don't slow down. Because again, if you slow down, the car won't pick up speed. So out of the nightmare of a section, at that point, honestly, we contemplated just getting to service and calling it quits, because now we are not competing. If you look at our times on the first stage, we were 11th. We posted 11th, the 11th fastest time, with I think 39 entries. Yeah. On the second stage, we were 7th. If you look in the afternoon, it's the opposite. We're almost 20, 22. So really, what are you doing? When we got back to service, because so many people got out, by the end of the day, we were actually 8th, because the total number of people remaining in the event were 13. So I'm like, okay, that's not bad. why not do this again tomorrow? It's not a good addiction, I'll tell you that. So we repaired all we could. Next day in the morning, second day, the power issues that we had actually started creeping up more. Not that now the ignition coils, everything had been sorted, but we had a loss of power because I suspected the ACD pump. There's something that controls how the vehicle would handle. That thing had seized, it was not working anymore. So even when you have muddy tracks, you don't have full grip because that is not providing you, sending power to where it's supposed to be going. So we just did a ride through the first 2 stages because at that point we're looking at just finishing the event. Just put that experience in the bag, then let's talk about this another day. By the second loop, it was a bit dry, and we're willing now to commit a bit more because it's proper gravel. We don't need that much ACD. We can actually throw the car around and make it work. It was okay, but well, in this one stage, Kedong, towards I think the last 6 to 8 kilometers, I've gone in to step on the brakes, and the brake pedal goes all the way to the other side. No change. So a navigator starts screaming at me because he realizes what we are doing and the corner that's coming up. And at that point, I don't know how to tell this guy without upsetting him that this thing has no brakes. So I just drove, and then he starts wondering, what are we doing? Why are we trying to brake the car? Let's just finish the event. So by the end of that stage, I start trying to demonstrate to him how the car cannot stop, because you have to drive competitively generally. If the corner grading is not too bad, it allows you to maintain a relatively fast speed. And that is what I was banking on, knowing how Kedong was. So I didn't let off per se. But towards the end where you actually need to stop, it didn't stop. Just went all the way past the time control, and we incurred even penalties because of that. But it was a fun experience at that point. We drove it back.
Kupata skiza tune hii Waibrania 13:8, dial star 811 star 963 hash.
Yesu Kristo ni yule yule, jana, leo na hata milele. Wahibrania 13:8.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Waibrania 13:8, dial star 811 star 963 hash, star 811 star 963 hash.
Sasa hii ng'ombe ni yako.
Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Jen, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno unasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuwa namna gani mtu anachukua?
Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe, na kama haujui kusoma uijaze na mtu unayemwamini. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia masilahi yako, na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako.
Oh, sasa wacha nianze hiyo process.
By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio dhibitisho ya kuwa una bima. Asante sana.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA.
The greatest rally in the world is back in Kenya. Catch all the action of WRC Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. See the world's best drivers navigate their machines on Kenya's rough terrain at breakneck speeds. Experience the thrills, adrenaline, drama and excitement as man and machine do battle. Don't miss out. WRC Safari Rally, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
And welcome back. Well, due to unavoidable circumstances, the news bulletin could not air at our normal timing. Now, to proceed, President Uhuru Kenyatta is challenging civilian institutions to emulate the Kenya Defence Forces' efficiency in public service delivery. The president noted that KDF had demonstrated good work ethic in their service to the nation, especially in the revival of key infrastructural and economic projects, thus saving the country large sums of money.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Monday made public reasons for his new trend to appoint military men to head key parastatals in Kenya. The head of state listing a number of projects that have been successfully delivered by the military in the recent years, such as the revived Kenya Meat Commission, which the government had lost large sums of money in unsuccessful attempts to salvage such facilities.
Jukumu letu ni kutendea wananchi. Look at what is going on. This was a lost case. We have no problem. I only wish our civilian operators, our civilian administrators, our civilians who we give jobs in parastatals, in ministries, would just do a quarter of what our brothers and sisters are doing here. Kenya would be transformed.
The head of state told off those criticizing the involvement of Kenya Defence Forces in the delivery of public projects, saying the military has the capacity to double up as the country's protector and implementer of crucial development programs.
Unasikia wananchi hapa wakiwa wananchi viongozi. Oh, mutateta shauri yenu. Lakini kazi tutafanya.
President Kenyatta, who spoke at Kisumu Port during the launch of the Kenya Shipyards Limited and laying the keel for the construction of the new cargo ship and MV Uhuru 2, said the revival of the port is a dream come true for the East African community founding fathers.
With the keel laying done today, over 1,000 young men and women will be employed here in the construction of the new vessel. The Kisumu Shipyard branch of the Kenya Shipyards Limited is poised to serve institutional and private commercial shipbuilding interests within Lake Victoria. Further, the Kenya Shipyards Limited is also poised to offer refit, maintenance, repairs, services of all seagoing vessels.
The head of state saying the government is next moving to Mombasa and other counties to streamline key institutions for the benefit of Kenyans. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, in other news, Kenya and Burundi have agreed to deal with trade barriers to deepen ties between the two East African countries. The two countries have today signed various cooperation agreements on agriculture, public service, foreign affairs, among others. Trade between Kenya and Burundi stands at about 10 billion shillings, with the lever heavily tilted towards Kenya.
President Uhuru Kenyatta said the two countries have agreed to strengthen and deepen their long-standing fraternal relations with the aim of fostering sustained sociology, economic development. As part of efforts to strengthen Kenya-Burundi bilateral ties, Kenya and Burundi have agreed to review the 2018 Joint Permanent Commission for Cooperation Agreement with a view of ensuring expeditious implementation of agreed agreements.
Nchi ambazo zimekuwa na uhusiano wa miaka mingi, ni nchi ndugu, ni nchi ambazo hazijatakuwa na matatizo kubwa kati yetu. Tumeshirikiana kwa mambo mbalimbali, mambo ya maendeleo, mambo ya trade, mambo ya usalama na mambo mengine mengi.
Speaking after a bilateral meeting, Burundi President Evariste Ndayishimiye has said Burundi will work towards enhancing ties with Kenya and address bottlenecks inhibiting growth of trade and investment between the two East African countries.
We are enjoying both sides. There's links between our two countries through investment, trade, and growing mobility of goods and people between our two countries.
President Ndayishimiye is in Kenya on a 2-day official visit. President Uhuru Kenyatta has further launched the Kisumu shipyard, where ships will be repaired, refurbished, and new ones built. President Kenyatta said the Kenya Shipyard Limited is set to be a game changer for Kenya's maritime sector as the government seeks to harness opportunities in the blue economy.
Na 300 ambao hawakuwa na pahali ambao wanafanya kazi hapa. Kuanzia wiki ijayo, hawa ni vijana wengine 1000 ambao watakuwa hapa wakifanya kazi ya kujenga hii mashua mpya ambaye tumeianzisha leo.
The yard, which was rehabilitated by Kenya Defence Forces, is part of the Lake Transport Revival Plan that seeks to boost economic development along the Lake Victoria.
The visiting Burundi First Lady Angeline Ndayishimiye has applauded the ingenuity behind the Beyond Zero mobile clinics, terming it an innovative way of taking healthcare services closer to the people. Angeline expressed her liking for the units during a guided tour of one of the mobile clinics at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital by her host, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta. Wycliffe Okech has more details.
After holding talks on women empowerment, maternal and child health at the State Lodge Kisumu, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta and visiting Burundi First Lady Angeline Ndayishimiye Ndayubaha will then proceed to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, where they were received by Kisumu First Lady Dorothy Nyong'o and her Laikipia counterpart Maria Beneka, who is also the current chairperson of the County First Ladies Association. Here, the duo planted trees to signify their visit. Kenya's First Lady Margaret Kenyatta will then guide her visitor to one of the mobile clinics at the facility, much to the impression of Burundi First Lady Angeline Ndayubaha, who termed the initiative an innovative way of taking healthcare services to the people. The duo were then taken on a tour of the Kisumu County Cancer Center, established through the Empower Project, an initiative of the County First Ladies Association. Thereafter, the First Ladies proceeded to Impala Sanctuary, where they were welcomed by a traditional song performance before being treated to an exhibition of handmade items bearing African heritage. The Burundi First Lady, who arrived in the lake city of Kisumu on Monday morning, is accompanying her spouse, President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi, on a 2-day state visit that will also see them attend this year's Madaraka Day celebrations on Tuesday at the new Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Mamboleo, Kisumu County. Wycliffe Okech, Channel 1 News.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Remember that it is all systems go for this year's 58th Madaraka celebrations that will be held at Kisumu's Jomo Kenyatta Stadium tomorrow. Be sure to catch that on KBC Channel 1. My name is Jackline Wambiru. Sign language interpreter is Anwangeshi. Have a good night.
Vera Beauty College. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000-706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Next on.
Why did you do it? There was no need for you to steal. You have never lacked in anything.
Nothing? I didn't have a father who cared for me.
You just learned that Manuel is your father. So what's the real reason why you started stealing?
Cesar, unfortunately, you have to discuss that with Max. If he authorizes it, I'll gladly send them to you.
Don't you understand? I am her husband. I want to know everything that's happened.
Well, it seems the dynamics of this family will change from now on.
Somewhat.
I will ask the maids to prepare one of the guest rooms for Constanza, all right? Adelina?
No,
Adelina.
no, it's not necessary. Constanza will stay in my room.
The greatest rally in the world is back in Kenya. Catch all the action of WRC Safari Rally live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 from 24th to 27th June. See the world's best drivers navigate their machines on Kenya's rough terrain at breakneck speeds. Experience the thrills, adrenaline, drama and excitement as man and machine do battle. Don't miss out. WRC Safari Rally, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
It's time for some entertainment. How you doing? How was your weekend? By the way, unajua kesho ni holiday.
Tunapiga sherehe. Kesho ni holiday.
Tumeanza sherehe leo officially. Actually.
Absolutely beautiful people. Welcome. This is the star-studded episode. Superstar Miss V, Superstar Party Daddy, Superstar fans. I'll see you. And tomorrow by there, it's not only an holiday. See, holiday peke. Kuna msupa hapa kona birthday.
Yes, it's also my birthday tomorrow. Do you have a gift for me, by the way?
Absolutely, absolutely. But after
cutting the cake.
After cutting the cake.
Keki mtakuja kukula by the way. Wenye wako na gift wanitafute. Nitawaambia pale penye tutakula cake. That aside, it's time for us to give you some juicy, amazing entertainment. I am your girl, Vivian Dagwa. You can simply just call me Miss V.
Jack Mula, the party daddy, aka your girlfriend, go my number.
And you know what this right here is?
Grapevine, baby.
What you gotta do?
Right, as promised earlier, we have a star-studded episode, and last week we had an all-star event that went down at the Carnival grounds.
Yes, now on this particular event, we had the who's who in the entertainment scene, from Calligraph Jones to Nadia Mukami to Saru to Trio Mio. I mean, you name them, they were all in there. Alafu, yani, Prezo alifanya ile kitu. Prezo aliamua kututisha, like he did in 2004. Was it 2004?
Yeah.
In 2004.
During the Chagulatiniza event.
Alikuja na chopper.
Woo!
Let's not talk about it. Let's check it out.
Last week, Carnival Grounds hosted revelers for a concert dubbed The Next Wave, courtesy of Royal Entertainment.
Tunacheza na maneno. Geli ni